what flower seeds can you actually direct sow instead of having to start indoors first thing in April, first thing as soon as the snow melts? Let's talk. Here are the four, and then I'll go into much greater detail on each of them. So you have sweet peas, calendula, borage, and poppies, somniferum poppies. So let's break it down. Calendula is just so freaking resilient. You can sow it in the heat of summer, you can sow it as soon as the snow melts, and she knows just what to do. She doesn't mind being transplanted either, and generally we do transplant them just because it's a little less weeding. But if you want to keep life super simple, calendula will thrive no matter what you do. So here are four varieties of calendula that we share. She comes in all different shapes, colors, lots of various rainbows. So we adore her. And most of them are just lots of different colors, super cool. Medicinal, yes. But if you really are growing calendula for the medicinal compounds, I highly recommend you go for resina, which is called resina for all of those medicinal resins, if you will. And she is chock full of them. She's literally sticky with them. And so you don't want to put resina on your salads. On the other hand, any of your other calendulas are perfect for salads, cakes, ready to go. So next, let's talk poppies. And so I'm obsessed with Poppies somniferum poppies myself. They are just so exquisitely beautiful, and even though they're annual, they have a perennial presence in our lives because when they go to seed, they gently dot themselves across our landscape. So they come up in the most unexpected and sweet places, and they never choke out anything. Where this calendula can easily become a carpet, poppies are they play nice. And so here are these four different varieties. Let me count them 5. There's actually more on our website even. We have this beautiful white poppy, Sally's Double Pink, which was a gift to us from our friend Alaric. Scarlet Peony is insane, and Drama Queen Midnight Plum, our Zyre's Bread Seed, is amazing. Oh, here she is. Yes. And so as an aside, with those poppies, if you want insectary flowers in your life, choose the single petal. Take a look at all of those anthers covered in pollen, covered in bees and native pollinators. Now take a look at this frilled white poppy. I don't see the anther cones. I don't see the pollen, and neither do the pollinators so much. So if you're interested in the insectary qualities of poppies, definitely go for the big, voluminous, beautiful anthers. And establishing them, you've got a couple different options. So you'll often hear, that you can sprinkle them on the snow. And I actually don't recommend that. I recommend just after the snow melts, sowing them in already prepared soil and then ever so slightly burying them. I mean, literally ever so slightly. As a general rule, you only want to sow seeds twice their depth. So most people sow seeds way too deep. So these are tiny little seeds, just barely cover them with soil. But I actually transplant them, and we're actually sowing them now here in our greenhouse. They don't mind germinating in the warmer temperatures, but they do mind establishing in warmer soil more fully. So we're planting them here 8 weeks before our final frost, and we're going to be transplanting them, hardening them off, and then transplanting them in about a month after they have 1 to 2 sets of true leaves. And then there's still a month of cool weather. The soil is nice and cool. It will most certainly frost many times, at least 10, and that's great because the poppies, for whatever beautiful reason, want to be establishing their root systems, especially in cool soil. So basically here in Zone 5, think of them like spinach. If you're sowing spinach around Memorial Day, you've waited too long. It's not going to thrive. If you're sowing poppies as well around Memorial Day, it's too late. They're not going to thrive. It's too warm. So establish them in the cool, and they will surround you with beauty for years to come. So borage is another one that is just super easy. You can tuck it right in the soil. They're nice big seeds, so it's hard to sow them too deep, and they are just so tenacious, ready to come right up. And they also, though they're annual, have a perennial presence without being annoying. And they don't mind being transplanted, so A, you can transplant them, and B, once you see their big fat leaves, which are actually delicious coming up in the spring, you can easily transplant them. So, and the same is true for your poppies as well. So our final seed flower that we direct sow, even in the cold, especially in the cold, are sweet peas. And that is Sweet Poncho on there as well, one of our little dogs. And so Poncho is wonderful, yes, and sweet peas are wonderful, it's true. Here's the thing, sweet peas have not been domesticated nearly as long as other peas and many other classic flowers or vegetables. And so they have a thick, kind of erratic seed coat, and they don't often germinate consistently. And so to make them germinate consistently, pour your packet, or as many of the seeds in the packet as you want to be sowing, into a little container and soak them overnight. And you'll see that a certain percentage, probably 60 to 80% of those seeds, will imbibe water. They will swell, and they will become 2-3 times the size of the seeds that haven't swollen. And those ones that aren't swelling, they wouldn't swell if you planted them either. So you can simply take those little seeds and take your nail clippers and very gently nick just the seed coat, the outermost seed coat of your sweet pea seed. If you damage the germ inside, they won't germinate. So you really just want to be sure that you're ever so slightly nicking just the outermost seed coat of your sweet pea, and then toss it back in the water. See if it swells with another 10 hours. If it does, amazing, sow it. You've got a brilliant seed just waiting to swell and germinate for you. So there you have it, friends. These are some of the easiest flowers to sow as a direct result of them being early spring and direct sown. People, I can't tell you how many thousands of people have told me that they struggle so much with poppies, and I really think this is the thing to know. They want to establish in the cold. Here in Zone 5, if it's Memorial Day, the soil is warm because we're planting tomatoes and beans, and it's just too warm for poppies. So you're well ahead of the curve, friends. And whether you directly sow them right in the ground or start soil blocks like we just did yesterday, I am so excited for you to sow this abundance. And without further ado, I'm going to jump on the table and turn off the camera, which is going to be highly entertaining. What'd I tell you?